What's up, nation? Today let's talk Nintendo news. Hey everyone, thanks for clicking on the video today. We're going to be covering the newest Nintendo news that we know right now. There hasn't been a bunch of information since we're still waiting on that big direct for hopefully that they're going to launch around this E3 window, or what would have been E3 of 2020. We do have an official statement from Nintendo about how this pandemic has affected their development time cycle and what to expect going forward with that. We're also going to be looking at Metroid Prime 4 information. We don't have any new gameplay or footage or anything like that, but we do have some hirings that they've made that are kind of notable as far as their development team. Then we're also going to be looking at the Star Wars Pod Racer release that came up out of the blue. Nintendo basically just did a shadow drop on us and say, hey, it's available in the eStore, and there's also going to be some physical pre-orders that you can do with that. And then lastly, we're going to be taking a closer look at Paper Mario Origami King, which is set to release in July, so it'll be the first Switch release that we've had from a first-party Nintendo perspective since Animal Crossing. So a bunch of great information to come, so keep it tuned in here and we'll walk through it together.
Alright guys, so the first piece of news we're covering today is actually Nintendo's released an official statement now on how COVID-19 has impacted their game development. We've known up to this point that they've seen slowdowns and complications with getting Switch hardware out there in stores. Like, you can't buy a Switch anywhere in a store right now, and they did say that that's starting to return to normal, so in the next coming weeks we should see the shipments come back. But obviously, like, up to this point, we've had literally people like price gouging on eBay, selling them for $600, $700, $800. It's been that hard to actually get your hands on a Switch. So that part's coming to an end. They do say that that's returning to normal. We did get a quote during, I guess, one of their shareholder meeting Q&A meetings that they had yesterday, and we got a quote from the director and senior managing executive officer, Shinya Takahashi, and he says that Nintendo has faced development delays due to COVID-19, but it will not affect upcoming releases. In the future, if the pandemic continues, there could be delays in future development and releases. So what that tells me is that the stuff that's already got slotted for certain release dates, such as like Paper Mario, we know that's coming out in July. Stuff like that's not going to be affected, but if this does continue to be an ongoing situation and it gets worse before it gets better, then it could be something where we do see delays for other titles that they're working on, because it's obviously a lot harder to build a game on a team when everybody has to work remote and send files back and forth and things. They can't be in the same office, so hopefully we see that not slow down things too much for what's around the corner, but that we do have confirmation that it has affected their game developments up to this point, but that they're not expecting their current games that are right around the corner to be affected by this. So hopefully it all starts going in the right direction and we start getting on our regular release schedule. With that, the next piece of news we're jumping into is actually a Metroid Prime 4 update. So if you guys are familiar with the development cycle of Metroid Prime 4, Nintendo originally had a different development studio creating the game. They got 2 years into it, and Nintendo basically did a quality inspection on the title to see where they were at after 2 years of development, and they decided that their game was not that game that they created was not up to their standards. So they asked them to completely scrap the title, restart from the ground up, and then they handed it to Retro Studios, who's a different game developer with a much better track record. So they did go ahead and do that. We're now about a year into the development since that was announced, so we probably have realistically 2 years still to go, somewhere in the 1.5 to 2 year time cycle at least. So to go through the article here, as spotted by VGC, the studio has hired lead engineer, goes by the name Bat as his nickname. I'm not going to try to pronounce his actual name because it's just that complicated, but I'll throw it up on screen for you guys in case you want to do more research. But previously, Bat held specialist engineer and software engineering roles at Call of Duty developer Treyarch, including a technical lead position on the PC version called Call of Duty Black Ops 4. Completed in April, this hire is the latest in a string of exciting new arrivals at Retro. Recent newcomers include Adad Morales, Brian Eric, and Nicholas Wilson, who have worked on the likes of Battlefront Hardline, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, and Borderlands 3. So it seems like they're really building a bench of powerhouse developers here. Obviously, Metroid Prime 4 has huge expectations behind it, and all the fans want to see this game get the proper release and the proper gameplay that it deserves and be the true evolution of the series. So it's really reassuring to see that these hires actually took place back in April. So they've definitely been building the bench of talent for a while now, and it seems like they really want to get down the first-person shooting element right. So they're bringing in series veterans from the likes of Call of Duty and the titles we just read through here. So we haven't gotten any official gameplay. We haven't gotten any, even like a glimpse of what the graphics look like in the game or anything like that. but at this point in the development, it shouldn't be more than maybe hopefully 6 months to a year before we start to see that trickle down. So that's really exciting that we're at least getting forward momentum and that they haven't delayed the project any further. They're really going all out and trying to hire in as many high-level talents as they can. The next thing we're going to cover, which is something I didn't expect, was actually we're getting a remaster of Star Wars Episode 1 Racer. If you guys remember that from the Nintendo 64 era, they're actually doing a remaster, not a remake. It is the same textures, but they are adding in some new gameplay modes, so you can actually go ahead and control your racer now with Joy-Cons, which is really interesting. So that'll be fun just to kind of mess around with. I remember that game from a kid, so I'll definitely be picking this one up and then seeing really what it has to offer. But one thing that is really interesting too is I guess they are anticipating there being a more hardcore fan base for this because they're actually doing pre-orders on their website. They start at Friday, July 10th at 7 a.m. And you can actually go and get a collector's edition that looks like it has basically it's a physical edition of the game with the Switch cartridge. You get a silver Star Wars Racer cartridge that looks like an old Nintendo 64 game, and then you actually get what looks to be like a Nintendo Switch box, but it's laid out like it's an N64 box, and then that's the collector's edition that they have. They're calling the Classic Edition for $59.99. And then for $89.99, they have a version that's available for, I guess, both the Switch and the PS4, but that has basically all that same stuff, but then you're getting a steelbook with the PS4 version. You're getting like a commemorative metal coin and stuff like that. So really crazy to see that they went and put that much effort into, such a classic game. I don't know even how well the original sold, but here it is, remastered in 2020. So if you're interested in the Star Wars Racer series, make sure to pick that up. It's available in the eShop now for Nintendo, or you can go ahead and pre-order these special editions on July 10th, looks like. So yeah, really surprising comeback from Star Wars Racer series. And so next up, Paper Mario the Origami King. We got a lot more information because Nintendo just released kind of like a deep dive video on how the gameplay mechanics work and what it looks like. So really interesting is that what they're doing with the gameplay is that they're actually doing a ring with all of the enemies that you, I guess, can spin around to line up so your attack can hit more foes than it would have otherwise. So it's a different take than what they've done with previous Paper Mario titles. So I don't know what to expect with the final product just yet, but it does look really like it's a different, like they're definitely doing a different style of gameplay on this. We also saw boss battles and then how the combat system would work then. So rather than placing Mario at the center of the ring, the bosses themselves stay at the center, and then your job is to basically fight to create a safe path for Mario to get close to the boss so he can damage them. So also a change in the style of gameplay there. And then what's really funny is it looks like this game is going to have a theme of basically the bosses are going to be either office supplies or rubber bands or stuff like that, duct tape. So it's like, I guess they're going for, just the full origami theme here, which definitely makes sense. It sounds like a Nintendo thing to do where they just pick a theme and run with it. But it looks like there's going to be a lot of new gameplay mix-ups. The trailer looked really exciting. I do think it's going to be, the evolution of what Paper Mario should hopefully be. So make sure you check out that title as we're expecting it to release on July 17th. So that's right around the corner. So it'll be the first Nintendo game that we've had out, so like I said, since Animal Crossing. So let me know in the comments if you guys plan to pick this one up below, and let me know what you thought about the new deep dive trailer.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching the video today. Please let me know what you're most excited about as far as this new Nintendo news that we covered. Is there anything that you didn't know that you learned from this video? Also, what do you think we're going to see from the next Nintendo E3 Direct? Do you think we're getting one this summer or this fall at all, or do you think that we're just pushing that into maybe 2021 range? So I'd love to know your guys' thoughts and what you're most excited for. And then if you haven't already joined Sunbro Nation, do so today by subscribing below. Make sure you hit the like button on this video if you did enjoy it, and then make sure that you click that bell notification so you can stay up to date with all the new news as it comes out. I will be covering everything in relation to the new Nintendo Direct and the new gameplay trailers as we get them. I'll do deep dives and gameplay walkthroughs and things like that, so make sure you keep it tuned in here and join the nation today if you haven't already. You guys have a great day. Sunbro Nation out.